Welcome to Crimes Among Us. Today, we shine light on small-town Crowder, Mississippi, with a population that doesn't come close to 700 residents, a place where everybody knows everyone, or at least they've heard of you. October the 9th, 2019, April Jones, age 36, mother of 7 who finished top of her class, later graduated from Mississippi Delta College. Her companion, William Edward Lacey Polk, age 23, the kind of man that would give you the shirt off his back if you needed help. He was always smiling, to the point that it became contagious to everyone around him. This mystery begins when a couple seems to vanish into thin air. Law enforcement casually blew their disappearance under the rug, an unfair consequence to having a known addiction, deeming both of them a non-priority. Authorities assume maybe they just ran away together. Maybe they're somewhere in Vegas. Hard to do when neither of them owned a vehicle. It would take 5 arrests and several years to reveal the twisted happenings that left bodies burned, dismembered, and hidden in the Delta. Jamie Lynn Tubbs, a townie that had over her share of run-ins with the law, and Desmond Cutthroat Green set out on what only could be described as a hit. They pick up April heading to the Taco Bell off of Highway 6 East in Batesville, Mississippi. Will decides to invite himself along. They seem kind of sketchy. He didn't want anything happening to his girl. He was right to feel uneasy as they end up heading down a rural area road near Keith Coleman's home. They had no idea this would be their last ride together. Keith, or K2, a known plug out of Quitman County, the alleged mastermind behind the setup, knew he did not have to be the flyest or the best-looking person. Girls wanted illegal substances, which he provided. He wanted intercourse, which they provided. Having multiple cars, weapons, properties, he was sleeping with close to 100 women at any given time. He said that money made him handsome. But this false sense of arrogance turned this woman user into the used. After allegedly having a sexual encounter with April Jones at one of his stash houses, perhaps pillow talk led K2 to tell April exactly where he kept the goods. Over $15,000 worth of illegal substances, walks off. Noticing that she does not buy from him for a while, he blames April. This shot to his ego had K2 out for blood. As he lays next to baby mama number 2, Chelsea Golden, on the couch, he allegedly turns and looks at her and tells her, "I'm gonna kill April. And you're going to help." Afraid, she looks at him and tells him no. He then pulls out a gun. First, he points it at her, then at their child. She agrees. The plan is made. Jamie Lynn Tubbs, another one of K2's conquests, had a special kind of hate set aside for April. Jamie blames her man's indiscretions on April as she sleeps with little Dusty. A betrayal that Jamie felt she should die for. K2, an unstoppable goon king, was have said to have led Crowder with fists, guns, and fear, and today would be no different. He places Chelsea on the side of the road, pops the hood because he knows that they will stop. He then hides in the woods and waits for his opportunity. Before they arrive, Jamie sends a text message to K2. Will has come too. Was not part of the plan. He was not the target. K2 hides in the woods and he waits. He sees the car's headlights approaching in the dark. They see Chelsea standing outside the vehicle, and they pull over. Jamie, Desmond, and Will exit the vehicle. K2 sneaks from out of the woods, and he snatches April Jones from the back seat. In the passenger seat of the Saturn, K2 had rode along with them his .22 rifle. Jamie grabs it and readies it to fire. She hands the gun to Chelsea. If Will runs, shoot him. Will starts jumping around in shock, putting his hands on his head. He has no idea what's going on. By this time, K2 is pounding his fist deep into April. He doesn't stop until he gets tired. Chelsea stood there, nursing her own broken jaw, a correction given to her by K2. April gathers up enough strength to get up and run, but K2 makes no attempt to catch her. Instead, he points the gun and fires and fires and fires repeatedly as she does not go down. He doesn't stop until she hits the ground. Will Polk believed just because people do bad things, it does not make them bad people. As he takes a look at K2 and he says, "I'm not gonna tell." K2 looks him directly in his face and responds with only 2 words, "I know," as he fires directly into his chest, showing little to no remorse. After ensuring that both were dead, they casually go to Walmart for supplies. Tarps, shovels, boots, and a mask, just in case there are deer cameras in the woods. They hook them up to the back of the four-wheeler and drag them deep into the woods. Their cold souls allowed them to dismember the body parts, Jamie refusing to dismember Will. He was her friend. But when it came to April, she said she enjoyed it. And if she could do it again, she'd kill that snitch again, drenching their bodies with kerosene and lighting them on fire, so no one could identify their remains. K2 gives a call to his first baby mama, Sierra Wheeler. When she answers the call, he says, "How much do you love me?" Lately, she had been successful on avoiding K2, but not this time. She knew that he gets what he wants by the last time she got a broken nose. She tells him, "You already have other women. Why are you calling me?" He says that Chelsea has proved her love, and now it's her turn. After a number of tasks, he convinced her to place a bag in her trunk. "Hold on to it," he says. She thought that it was some illegal substances or something. The next day, she had to go to work, and she told him, "You're coming to get your bag." When he arrives, she picks up the bag from the top, using her other hand to support the bottom. When she feels something like cartilage, a nose, an ear. "K2, what have you done?" He looks at her and grins. Nothing. She watches as K2 digs a hole in his own backyard, placing Will's head and hands, preserved only in a garbage bag meant for trash. "If they find somebody, I'd rather them find Will. He was never supposed to be here." After that, everything goes silent. Months, years passed. April would have never ran off without checking on her kids. Her daughter's phone never rang, not even on her birthday. A celebration that she has always found a way to pick up the phone and call for, even if she had to walk 5 miles just to make the phone call. They knew she had passed away. Tragedy strikes again as Will's brother passes away in a bad car accident. His family was almost positive he would come home for this, and when he did not, they knew they had lost 2 sons. Quitman County hires a new chief deputy, and WLBT News airs this case all across the Mississippi. Shortly after that, everything changes. The first arrest is made. Haley Pierce, 100 pounds, soaking wet. After talking to authorities, it had to be her. She knew details that only the killers would know. She is charged with 2 counts of murder. After the interrogations, she names another. And 1 week later, her boyfriend Dale Gann is arrested, a member of the Simon City Royals. After talks with both of the individuals, false confessions had been revoked, but other suspects would be named. At this time, K2 was already incarcerated at Quitman County for illegal substance trafficking. Allegedly, he catches wind that everything is about to hit the fan. He waits until rec time, when there are no shackles, no handcuffs. He seizes the opportunity, and he escapes. Taking authorities on a 3-week manhunt, the U.S. Marshal Fugitive Task Force catches him in Arkansas, places him in custody, and ships him back to Mississippi to stand trial with the other 2 main contributors. Jamie can be seen laughing and then crying as she takes a moment to wink at the camera. The trial lasted for only 4 days as the jury returns with the verdict after deliberating for only 45 minutes, handing down 2 life sentences with concurrent 3 years for desecrations of their bodies. Tune in next time as I bring what's done in the dark to the light.